We'll just give it a minute to load up, and I'm just going to check to see if it's coming up as well.
Bear in mind, if it works, you'll hear everything we say.
Yeah, we've got it coming up. Just give it a minute. Oh, then going down it. Yep, we've got it coming up. It's going live.
Okay, go.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, oh, you, John.
All right, no problem. My name's Joseph Blair. My brother's Robert Blair. We were raped and abused as children back in '77. Me and Bobby, our campaign is about abuse and rape of children. We've been campaigning for lots of years to get the message out to the general public about the abuse of children under social services, care homes, and why the authorities still remain to this day turning their backs on it. Why is it not being debated in the Houses of Parliament? Why is the government not doing enough in this country to protect innocent children? We've campaigned for so long, and to be quite honest, it's beyond me why this is still allowed to happen today, and it is. It's got worse. It hasn't got better. Children are being raped and abused up and down and across the width of this country, day after day after day. And do you know what I mean? We're in a situation in our lives where if we can't protect our children, then who can? The government aren't, the police aren't. I also support all the paedophile hunters. Northern Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales. They do a magnificent job on catching the dirty gits, yeah? And I applaud them all because it's not a very nice job to do in the first place, yeah? But they do it. Why is the government not doing it? Why is the police not doing it? Yeah? What's the police resources on? Are they on out protecting children? Why can't they do the same as what the paedophile hunters do? Why are children being groomed online? Why is the British government not putting proper systems in where they can monitor everything and catch these online abusers? Yeah, the list can go on and on and on. And it does go on, and it has done for decades. And like I said, me and Bobby, we were abused, and other victims. We were all raped and abused in 1977 when I was 12 years of age, and Bobby was 12. Yeah. We're both 55 now. And what changes have we seen? None. Not one change have we seen. Everything has got worse, 1,000 times worse, not better. So whenever we're talking about uniting together as one, which we desperately need to do, and we will make that happen because this is what needs to happen. People are walking around blind. They don't want to. When we look at our demos that we do, and that you do, Katie, and other people, we always see the same faces. The media have totally blacked it out. The government have blacked it out. And whenever you look at just that in itself, that means that we have to live in a society where innocent children that have never done anybody any wrong have to be raped and abused, have to be ripped out of their parents' arms and put into forced adoption and care homes, what, to feed the elite, to feed the predators, right? What's it coming to? And this is what we get. We're the ones that have been hurt, and we've got mental health issues because of what happened there. But why is the government and the police not doing their job properly? It should be getting debated in the Houses of Parliament. It should be a number one thing to protect the children of this nation, and the government just do not do it. We already exposed it, me and Bobby did. There's 160 members of parliament on a sex register. Now, that could be for groping your secretary, yeah? It could be for inappropriate votes of opinion sexually to another member. It could be for being a paedophile. But every single one of us, if we done something like that in our jobs, yeah, we would be automatically sacked on the spot. They aren't. They're allowed to continue on with their job, and they do it, yeah. Why are they not being sacked? And what is it? One law for them and another law for us, because that's the way that it's looking. And like I said, if we cannot protect children that have done nobody no wrong in this country, what does it say about this country as a nation? And this is what needs to be sorted out. Anybody else wants to chat for a sec?
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
thank you, Joe, for introducing everyone. So there is a reason for this live. There is a reason for why we're doing this and why we have all come together. And that's one of the things that we are looking at, well, what we want to focus on in this live. And we've all come together for a reason. We've all been brought here for a reason. And we all have a goal, and we all have an aim, and we all have a focus. And we're all on our own individual path, and that's important. So we're going to be working together intently from now until the foreseeable future. Every single one of us here on the live that you can see, as well as Bobby and hopefully 3 other team members, we are fully in this with what we're going to be doing. We are going to be doing our own personal blogs as well, so we can have an outlet for ourselves, but also help people along the way, which is really, really important, because it's what we all needed, and people are still out there asking for it. I'm gonna ask Sharon if Sharon wants to introduce herself and also her goal of what we've got, of what we're doing going forward.
Hello. Put me on the spot there.
Sorry, Sharon.
Hi,
Yeah.
Sharon.
Hello,
Hey.
Sharon Binks. I got involved with what I'm doing currently because I reported, back in the end of 2016, I reported a family member for grooming me when I was a child. The reasons for that were just so it was logged for reference if anybody else came forward, but it went to court. Anyway, in that time, when I found out it was going to go to court, I heard about a girl in Sunderland who'd been raped and beaten, and the CPS had dropped the case. So I went to Justice Chelsea in 2017 in the June. Tommy Robinson was speaking at that demo, and so I had my eyes opened about a lot of the grooming that was going on. I was at that time working with Children's Services as a family group conference coordinator, and with all what was going on in my own situation and not quite understanding why this girl wasn't getting any justice, I then started talking about these sort of things, the grooming, the Manchester bomb had happened in the same sort of 3-month period. So I was talking about things like that at work, and that led to me getting sacked. So come January the following year, 2018, I started going to the demos again. I went to the veterans, I met the football lads, and I got asked to get involved with Justice Women and Children. There'd been a spate of rapes in Sunderland. One of the local women had decided to do something about it. And so I was asked if I would do the speaking for Justice Women and Children of Sunderland. And it just kind of grew from there. We got the support of the football lads, and Gerard Batten came and spoke at one of our demos. And so it did have an impact, you know, the rapes reduced in the area. So, and we went from town to town. But in that sort of, on that journey, people were coming forward with stories of forced adoption, stories of corrupt social workers, stories of having children taken on grounds of, you know, potential risk. So in December last year, I wrote a speech for everybody to kind of open people's eyes to the forced adoption situation. and then met Katie when I got on Right Unity at the time. So we chatted about her situation, and the people just come forward all the time. Every demo we do, somebody comes forward with their story. So joining together like this is what I've been hoping for from the very beginning. Is why I went to everybody's demos, you know, supported everybody up and down the country, because I want people, you know, we have strength in numbers, and when we turn our back on what they're doing and say we're not having it anymore, we're going to do it our way. This network that we've now got of real people with real stories and situations, and a real heart for making that change, protecting the children, all the children. The strength that we've got in those and all our groups coming together is quite a powerful thing. And I think if we do this right, we can bring people out who want to tell their stories, and we can give them somewhere to contact. You know, we become the new social services, we become the new counselling service, we become the new advice line that, you know, where they would normally go for family. You know, I've got years of family training. If somebody needs advice about any issues in the family, they don't have to go to a social worker for that support. We want to be that network that can provide those services to the people that need them, so that they can live safely, and you know, everybody's life improves. That's the ideal, isn't it? So that's all we can work towards, is shining a light on what they're doing and provide something that's an alternative to what they've been given for years and years and years, without the brainwashing and only the truth.
Yeah.
So yes, that's my bit. So
I agree with you, Sharon, 110%. And you know the school yourself, when we've all been to everybody's different demos, and all we've ever done is said, please, we've got to unite as one. Yeah, we can't win this if we don't unite as one.
I can't understand why everyone's not uniting for the sake of the children. You know, yeah, everything else is a good cause, but that's the future. That's kind of, on the grand scale of things, that's humanity, isn't it? That's the next generations. If we allow them to do what they're doing to them now, God knows what they'll do to our grandchildren and their children. It's,
Exactly.
you know, nobody wants
what will happen.
Nobody wants Agenda 30, do they? Agenda
No.
21, whatever the plans they've got for us. You know, we have to be the people that stand up and say, no, we're not having it. Not on my watch.
Exactly. But what people don't realise, because we've watched it, like I said, Sharon, you know me and Bobby's story, yeah? What people, the general public and other people don't get, yeah, is that when a child is raped and abused, or even a child is took off their parents, that scars them children for life. Yeah?
That's abuse in itself. I mean, family group conferencing that I was doing before is about bringing all the family members and the close friends and neighbours, whoever can support that family, together to discuss around the child how they can support each other to make sure that child stays within the family and benefit from the people around it, and they stay safe. And if the parents aren't doing a very good job, then somebody else can step in, and it's all agreed in that family group. I mean, I would offer a family group conference to any family that want to pull their family back together and support the children in that family, because that's my drive. That's, you know, I did put my job on the line by talking about what I was talking about. In the mental state I was in at the time, going through what I was going through, I was quite angry. You know, I'd hold my hands up to that, but nothing I said was untrue. So yeah, for me, it's about bringing the family back together. Once you bring the family back together, you can work on the community, bring the community back together. Once we've got the strength of the community, you know, divide and conquer becomes more difficult for them, doesn't it?
It does. And like I said, it rather than rip a child away from a family, yeah, because we brought that up, because I've said it, me and Bobby give our seminars, the trainee social services. We do that here in Birmingham University. Did I ever think that me and Bobby would end up doing that? No, we never, yeah. But, like I said, even though we don't work for social services, we give them conferences on our experience, on our everyday life, is what it's like as a victim, to be raped and then go through life, even to the age that we're at today, with the mental health issues that we have. We cover the whole board on it, and we're opening social services eyes, trainee social services, to the mistakes that was made and are still being made. We're trying to make them better. And
while the council are training their social workers to take children at birth.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this in a minute, guys, just because there are a couple of people to get through, but we will come back to this. This is a lot of the things that we do want to talk about and focus around. I'm going to move on to Zach to introduce himself, just because I know he could be ripped away from his kid at any time. So, Zach, who are you? What's your plan for this? Well, what do you do now? What's your plan going forward? There. Oh, by the way, guys, as well, before we do, I think it's still on anyway. Before we do move on as well, to everyone watching, if you do want to ask us any questions, I have got my notepad and pen with me, so I will write them down and we'll answer them at the end as well. So over to you, Zach.
I forgot to unmute my mic. I was rambling away to myself. I'm Zach from Father's Failed by Estate. I'm going to be working closely with Lorne, hopefully, to get people's background stories. I don't just want to know, because I'm a complete outsider to this. I've had no social involvement myself. I've just had a very difficult mother of a child. Tried to alienate. I tried to alienate me. I'm really eager to find out the full story behind things, not just what actually happened. I want to go and divulge into the childhood and the entire upbringing to see if there's any connections that we can make from different cases, saying this has happened in your childhood, this has happened in their childhood, and you've had the same outcome with social. I just want to get a better understanding, because I've not been through anything, well, the stories I've heard, I've been through nowhere near as much as that, and I just want to be able to grasp the actual pain and try and portray that onto other people to show them it's just how devastating this can be.
Yeah. And like I say, Zach, it is devastating. We all lead our individual lives, and what happens with people, yeah? People that have been damaged, people that have been raped and abused, and mothers and fathers that have had to, we all live behind a smile, yeah? But people don't see our everyday living. They don't see our bad days. They don't see our good days. And this is what we need to bring out to the public as well. That we have got our bad days. We've got our, sometimes I can't even get out of bed. And that's just because of flashbacks, it's because of my anxiety, yeah, panic attacks, whatever. And this is what the public needs. We need to do like something like a documentary on how we live our lives and how we cope with our lives every single day. I think that would be a very powerful insight into the suffering. Yeah, it's not nice, but I think that if we've done something like that, where we could show that as proof, yeah, that would be a very, very big impact on to how lives are still destroyed, how we still suffer. And we all suffer in our own individual ways. And I honestly believe that that does need to be highlighted.
That's going to be one of the aims with the, well, I'm going to call it a series. I'm going to be trying to get as many stories as I can. The full ins and outs of everything, no matter how close to the bone the questions are going to be.
Yeah.
Because the more organic it is,
yeah,
you'll be able to see the true feelings behind someone rather than it all being scripted and not having the questions like sugarcoating everything. I prefer everything to be brutal and honest, just so people can see the harsh reality. And then it's going to be progressing all through. The plan is to progress all through their lives and then get to today and see how they're coping today and what the good and the bad side to everything.
There is, and we've all got that. And like I said, who's going to turn a camera on whenever you're having a bad day? I would. If that meant pushing the message out to everybody, because all we hide behind is that smile. And I would actually do it. I would get Lizzie to do it to show you my good days and to show you my bad days, because that's part of reality that we have to live with.
It's a mask. It's a mask you have to go out and wear every day.
Yeah, exactly. And we hide behind that mask. Even though we're out there telling our stories and pushing it out to the general public, yeah. When I come home from demos, I was at a demo yesterday, the vets demo, because I'm an ex-vet. Brilliant turnout. Sad to see it. Sad to see the Northern Ireland vets being prosecuted the way that they are. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's the bigger picture in life. And it's how you cope every day. What mechanisms do we use to cope? How do we get through every day? What triggers your ups and downs? Yeah, it's the whole spectrum of it that we need to bring to the public eye. And the only way that we can do that is, like I said, united as one, standing stronger as one, and we can make this a very good thing if we go about it the right way, which we all will. And it needs to be done, because whenever you stand, if you forgive the expression, on a pedestal, telling the public about your story, yeah, that's only one side of it. It's the suffering, it's the pain, I waking up, Lizzie will tell you, I wake up 3 and 4 times a night. I've got flashbacks, I've got the PTSD, and I have to cope with that. I've got no other choice but to cope with it. I used to OD, I used to self-harm. I've gone past that now, and I'm using that pain to drive me and Bobby, and we all do it, to get the word out there, to waken the public's eye up. And it's something that slowly but surely we're starting to get it somewhere, and that's a good thing.
Because obviously there are a few of us. I am going to come to Sammy and Zero and myself soon, but we've got Lon and Savannah with us, but they're going to be doing some stuff together, and obviously individual as well, focusing on different things. Yeah. So I'm going to put Lon on the spot, actually, and I'm going to say, Lon, you can introduce yourself first, and then we can move on to Savannah.
Come on. Just talk.
And so what?
Why are you doing what you're doing? Get me off the top.
Oh. I got to damn you, did it?
He's gone all shy at the minute. So I guess
I'll let you just go with Savannah if you want.
Right, well, I'm Savannah and that's Lorne, the very unsociable one.
Not unsociable.
We're involved with families destroyed by the state because when I was 8.5 months pregnant with my daughter, Lorne got arrested for a crime which was proven he didn't even commit. The social services took me away from my home, placed me in, first I was placed in, what would you call it, a unit for people who are fleeing domestic violence because they thought he was a violent person due to the nature of the crimes he was being accused of. I then went from being in the domestic violence unit to being put into a foster placement with my daughter, so she was in foster care and it was a mother and baby foster placement, so I could still be with her and still be the hands-on mum. Lorne was banned from the birth. He didn't even actually meet her until she was a week old. All the way through the case, we noticed the faults that the social workers were making. The judge ruled that Demi shouldn't even be in the foster placement and we should be out of that environment. The social workers then thought that they had more power than the judge, and even though it was ordered that they move us, they didn't actually move me out of the placement until care proceedings ended. We have loads of little things like that. It turned out that they broke my human rights because I wasn't actually on the spot as being a bad parent. At first, all the risks were based around Lorne, but I was told I wasn't allowed anywhere with my daughter on my own. So anytime I did want to go out, even if it was just to go shopping or to the park, the foster carer had to be there with us. I wasn't allowed on my own with her. She always had to be there because they feared that I'd go and meet up with Lorne. Even though I'd say about halfway through the care proceedings, Lorne was in criminal court, and the victim in that separate criminal case actually come into court, and as soon as she's seen him, she said, "I've seen him before with his girlfriend, he wasn't the person who committed this crime." And even with that, the social services still on the end court case tried to use the fact that he apparently committed this crime, therefore he'd be a danger. I was told that I wouldn't be able to safeguard my daughter due to being abused as a child, because I was under CAMS and I was diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety and things like that. So they said, Lorne's actually got ADHD. He was medicated as a child, and everyone agreed that it was in his best interest not to be medicated because he was like zombie-like, weren't you?
I didn't do that.
He didn't do anything. He just were pretty much non-functioning. He didn't get out of bed, didn't do anything. The social services and the guardian tried to pressure him into being medicated for us to get our final happy family. The things they did all the way through it was ridiculous, and now we've actually had our eyes open to what they can be like. It says a lot when social workers actually think that they have more power than a judge that has said that something has to happen and they're taking it into their own hands not to do it. It's disgusting. Like I said, he missed the birth of his child, and we actually had 2 previous miscarriages before I had my daughter, so her pregnancy and knowing that we had a happy, healthy baby was so important to us, and we cherished every single moment. And literally 2 weeks before I had her, it was all ripped away, and after I had her, I hemorrhaged. I had no one at the birth with me, so my daughter was taken off me into a random nurse's arms while the doctors were trying to sort me out. You know, a dad could have been there, a dad could have held her and he could have supported me. And I had another miscarriage 3 weeks ago, and a social worker was here about 5 days ago now. I think it was Wednesday last week. And when I'd explained that I'd turned a social worker away on the previous visit because I was actually in the middle of miscarrying, when I told her, she then laughed, said sorry, and still while laughing said, "Don't you think that's God telling you you've got enough on your plate at the minute?" No, that was a social worker I've never met in my life. She was a duty social worker that come round. She was also telling me how my social worker's getting fired because we ended on, the social services tried to push for a 12-month supervision order. Now, for me to move out of the foster placement with my daughter at the time I did, I would have either had to agree to the supervision order or carry on proceedings and try and argue why I don't need one but still be in the foster placement. So I thought it was in everyone's best interest to get the supervision order as low as we could and agree so we could move out and start as a family. The judge questioned the social services on if they had concerns, if they were that concerned for a 12-month supervision order, then why ain't they looking at removal of her altogether? So they shouldn't even be trying for that. If they were going to go for any supervision order, it should be a 6-month one. social workers obviously didn't like that. So they ended up having no choice but to agree. But the judge actually said to us that we don't have to agree to the supervision order. We could fight it, and our solicitors said if we'd have fought it and took it to the end, we'd have ended with no supervision order. But that made no sense for me then to be stuck in the foster placement for another 3 months, because the judge wasn't available for 3 months. So it was either agreed to 6 months or be in the foster placement. And by that 3 months, there was only 3 months of the supervision order left anyway. So it just made logical sense to do that. But throughout this whole process, our names have been tarnished. They kept going off future emotional harm and future physical harm, but how can they actually tell someone that? How can they be the ones to say that parents had harmed their child, when the way I see it is anybody is capable of absolutely anything? Nobody can predict what someone's going to do. You could walk out in the street tomorrow and get hit by a bus. Does that mean you're not allowed your child because you could get hit by a bus and not be there for your child? So why should they base a child being removed from the parents who love them so much just on ifs and buts? I'd understand if there was actual evidence of someone battering the child or neglecting them severely, and even then I wouldn't wish adoption on anyone. If the child can be placed with a family member up until the parents have had the help and support they need to help get back on track.
What do you want with this page going forward?
I want people to be more aware of the lies they tell and how they control every aspect of blackmail.
No, us as a unit, what we're doing now, what are you hoping from what we're doing now in the future?
I'm hoping that we can change a lot of things. I'm hoping that the whole process of everything they do just gets changed, and they shouldn't be allowed to do what they do now. It's disgusting, the amount of children that should be with their parents and the amount of mistakes they've made. They need to actually own up to what they've done and think, right, well, we've been doing it wrong, we need to change it.
But how can we help? How are we going to help do that? But in the long run, what are we planning to do to help get this along? What was it you just said?
Help people know the rights, like the things that they can record them and things like that.
Lance just said
to fall back on.
Do you want to speak that loud? He wants us to be able to help people know the rights, and them know that they can record them and anything that a parent's in the rights to do. If we can help people,
so that you don't get your rights stripped away.
Yeah, if we can help people know the rights, so that the social workers and whoever else is involved ain't stripping them rights away from them, maybe we can help parents have a better chance at fighting them and hopefully winning them. There's basic human rights laws for a reason, as Lawrence just said.
100%. I'm guessing Lon's not going to come on there. I'm guessing he's talking through you because he's hiding away from the camera.
Come on, say a couple of things.
Like what?
You're a father.
Say hello. Introduce yourself to the people, Lon. Can't hide behind your dressing gown all day.
I'm Lon.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How did you find it as a dad in the situation? And your version was a lot different from mine. So
It's crushing, and you don't know what to do. That's about it. Like you just end up getting left on your own, and especially as in my case, you get no support or nothing. You're just left for 6 months until you could turn up here at this time. You're there for an hour and then you go. So for 6 months, you're just left with nothing apart from people handing you pieces of paper 24/7, telling you how bad you are. Having people come round and say the same thing, and it kind of destroys you as a person.
So, do you think it'd have made a difference having, what we're offering around at the time?
If I'd have known at the start the majority of the stuff that I know now, I don't think it'd have gone as far. I think it'd have stopped at the start. It's just that not as many people know the rights. They don't know what to do, what to say.
You panic, don't you, when it comes to your child? and you just try and agree to everything.
Instantly
By
think
the
of
way,
this.
I apologise for keep looking down. I'm keeping an eye on the comments, and I can only actually look at everyone other than that Sharon and Joseph on there.
No worries.
But even as you as a dad, yeah, right. I'm saying it from experience, yeah. Not in the field that you've had, yeah. But you got the most important day of your life walked from you, yeah. And that hurts me because of the fact that, of course, you wanted to be there for your baby's birth.
I was
Yeah.
as close as I could be. I waited outside in the ginnel, just off the hospital grounds.
Yeah, but for people that have got, this is what we say, for people that have got the best interests of children to heart, when you look at the overall what the social services do, they haven't got the best interest of children at heart. Yeah, if they did, why would we have the system that they've got? Yeah, or every excuse in the book that they're looking for, they'll try to take the children. Or instead of putting a care plan in, they will try and take the child off you. Yeah, so easily to them. Yeah. And it's the parents. When children get ripped off their parents for what I call bullshit excuses, yeah, who are they caring about? Whenever the mothers and fathers commit suicide because they've took their children off them, yeah, and then children have got a lifetime of suffering because they think that their mum and dad didn't care about them. You know, the bigger, it's just like a big ball effect. Start off as a little thing like that, and you've got the snowball effect, which it gets big throughout your whole life. So, we can question social services where highs the interest of mothers and fathers and children in the best interest to take children away from their loving current parents. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah. We actually, the social worker who come round the other day, which I mentioned, she also, when we explained we didn't want to tell her everything that they've done wrong, because if it ever comes to someone trying to take us back to court, we now have a whole load of evidence which proves they have not stuck to anything that they're supposed to be doing. When we mentioned the fact that he was banned from the birth, because it turns out that social workers don't actually have the power to ban a parent for the birth. It's either the mother or the hospital. Now, the social workers in our case pre-rung the hospital, said how he was a danger, and the hospital then I walked in, there's a buzzer on the maternity unit, and someone were coming out as I were walking in, so I didn't have to buzz on and give my name. I actually overheard all the hospital staff having a meeting on how if someone called Lorne turns up, he's not allowed in because he's a danger. So they got it so that everything was their way. They couldn't legally stop it, but they found basically like a loophole of doing it. The social worker the other day said that the literal word she used was, "I once had a very naughty dad, and even I still let him go to the birth, and he was really bad. I'd never stop anyone from going to the birth." So it's really crushing the fact that each individual social worker and each manager that they get the clearance of, they do everything differently. It should be the same rule for everything, not one having an opinion and doing it their way. Because, for example, you could have a serial killer as a dad, and if one social worker has a different opinion, he can go to the child's birth, but someone who's being accused of a lesser crime, who hasn't even been proven whether he's done it yet or not, even though he's saying he hasn't, how they can actually then take it on themselves to put motions in place so that he can't attend it. It shouldn't work like that. It's disgusting. I know.
I had no prior criminal record either. This was the first thing.
Yeah, but even you, mate, yeah, right. I know you find it hard at the minute. Yeah, no. This is new. It's new to you, yeah. But what you could do yeah? Because of what happened to you. You could use your influence on not being there at your own baby's birth, yeah? Which has happened to a lot of other people, yeah? You could use that from your point of view to spread the word out there about how you felt when they done that to you, and no, just explain it, because that would help other people that have been in the same situation as you have, yeah. And it's not easy to stand here or sit here and explain it, yeah. But this is what needs to be. We cover all angles of abuse, yeah. So really, where you're concerned, that was mental abuse to you by social services. Yeah. I'm glad to see that you're happy, that you've got your family there, and you've got your baby there. It's lovely. Yeah. But like I said, you've still got that scar on your head, and your missus has, because you got robbed off that by people who are apparently social services that are supposed to care for children. Yeah. So basically, you could tell your story, how you felt at the time. Yeah. And you could be both helping other families know how to cope with it and how to get around what happened to you. You could use that, and like I said, give people guidelines, because this is why we decided to do this, because we want people to be, we want to put a platform out there where we can have phone calls, or we can have people, they don't have to come on and show their faces. If they wanted to, they could turn around and go, my name's blah blah, I've suffered with this, right? Can any of you help me with this? And give me a wee bit of advice on what to do, advice on how to cope. And this is what we're trying to set up. And we will set it up, yeah. But like I said, you're sharing your experience. The other families are going through exactly the same, yeah. And this is what we need. We need that transparency to show the public how bad the system is, how wrong it is. And this is why we do all the time what we do, because we're fighting to change the system. And the more people that have their own stories and we can make it big, then people will start to realise then, wait a wee minute, that's not an isolated case, neither is that. Everybody are coming together and sharing different experiences, yeah? And we can make this a good thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're using your own experience from what happened to you, yeah, to help other people. That's why we do what we do. It's not nice doing it all the time, but we're patriots. That's why we do what we do, to bring it to the general public of all the wrongs throughout the whole. And that's why we would meet people like you.
What I find disgusting as well is whether we like it or not, and no matter how much we show Demi love and affection, when she grows up and she learns of all the things that social workers did to us,
Yep.
when we go on to have more children, she's always going to know when she's older that her case was different. Her dad couldn't be there for her for the first 6 months. He could only have an hour's contact with her a week. So whether we like it or not as parents, we can't control whether she's going to feel basically like an outsider, and they've done that to her if she grows up and feels like that.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's the bigger effect that it has on people's lives. Yeah. The only thing advice that I can give you, yeah, is because your baby's young, yeah, she won't know that unless you take, yeah. And because of the way that you are as a couple now, right, if you go on to have more children, yeah, it's nothing that's being questioned. It's because you're young. She shouldn't know, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So even in the sense of that, it's not going to scar your baby. Yeah. Well, to you as parents, because you know what you went through. But you've got a lovely little baby there, yeah, and you've done everything that you possibly could to protect her, yeah. And you've come out now, the better side of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm lovely to meet the both of you. Yeah. But like I said, we're all going through difficulties. Yeah. And I thank both of you for actually coming on and telling your story. And this is what we need to tell.
Joseph, Savannah and Lorna are actually going to be working with us. Everyone who's on here now are all going to be, the ideas, the plan going forward of what we've got planned, all involved with it. So you're going to be working with Lorna and Savannah along the way as well. So
I just struggle talking, me, because I still feel like I'm being judged when I talk about it.
Well, with us, don't.
No, but
when
here.
you've done it for 6 months and there's everyone that hears it is saying something about it or has got a voice and opinion and they're telling you that everything that you've done's wrong even though you ain't done anything, it sticks with you and then you get a bit paranoid every time you talk.
There's so many people out there in your situation though that if you're just speaking your truth about what it's been like for you, that gets out to all those people, and you know that makes a difference to them that they're not alone in that. So don't feel judged. Just it's your truth.
Just remember the majority of people out there that would judge you are judging you to steer attention away from themselves and the things they don't like in their own life anyway. The judgment from something like that is not worth very much whatsoever, you know?
Your mic's a bit muffled there, Zero.
I don't know why. Is that any better?
Tiger.
1, 2, 3, 4. Is that better? Yeah, okay.
If everyone else mutes their mics, we'll be free.
Yeah, no problem. Anyway, sorry, carry on. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
No, it's meant to be jumped into. You're meant to join in conversations.
Yeah, no, sorry, yeah.
Well, actually, Zero, I was just about to move on to you anyway.
Okay,
would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Your aim and your vision for this moving forward?
My vision is for me to take over the world and these people to be my minions. This is a point where I introduce myself normally as Storm Fury, but my name's actually Tommy, and I'm probably different from everybody you've just heard because I've not actually been in the middle of all this. I very much look at myself as being a lens to a window to the truth, simply because people are very, very afraid of the truth. There's a disease and a poison going through our country, and I know everyone else wants to avoid the politics of it, but unfortunately politics is part of it. All roads lead to Rome, and this poison is of a political correctness which has gone beyond any sane use that it could ever have had. Not that I believe it ever has had any. People are afraid to say what they think. We are entering into a 1984 Orwell scenario. And to the subject of people's children are being weaponized against them in their own homes. If they don't do what the state thinks is the right thing for them to do, they can, quote, grass on their parents, and are encouraged to do so. The one thing people like me believe in is that the state should stay out of your affairs when it comes to things like raising your children and stuff. I don't believe, and many of the people on my side of the political spectrum don't believe the state should have the right to do these things. I'm also interested when I listen to the stories that I hear from many of these people. Why is the default position, if they feel that you haven't done enough for your child, it's put into forced adoption? Where are the other phases on that spectrum? It seems like a very binary black and white decision, and I'm very, very suspect over those kinds of decisions because it usually stinks of money. It always does. There's more going on there. The question is how to go out and prove that. and I can't take a group of people's stories and prove it, but the people's stories are a way of linking. So like these people who come together today to link together, it's a way of linking and opening a window up to people who would feel as I forgot the guy's name now. It'll tell me again in a second. It just said he feels judged. That's the point. There's going to be many people there feeling judged, and who won't have the kind of outlets maybe that he's going to have available to him. This could change that. This could change that. If word gets around, there's people prepared to come and shine a light on the truth. Not only might it change that, and it'll allow people to feel supported, but there's the other side that if people like those people they've had to suffer know that we're going to be going out there, looking with the cameras, using the cameras, the same way in which the police are now monitored by people like us with the cameras. It may change some of their behaviour and some of the way that they do things, because they will be the ones under scrutiny. Their judgment will be under scrutiny. We need to have them under scrutiny because nobody's keeping them in check. The idea that a child can be put into a forced adoption, taken away from the parent, and that's not going to be an issue for that child, when also as well, when we know how bad the state of care is what a lot of people out there don't realise. And how my friend's child was moved 26 times in 1 year. That's not a stable home. The idea that they grow up to forget their parents is a factual. It's a fantasy. I've known just one person in particular who, when she was 60 years old, still searching for her parents. She found them, amazingly. Still searching for her parents. She never felt like a part of something, because her own family, did they want her? Did they not? Did they give a damn about her? She never knew for the whole time. It never went away. It doesn't go away for people. No. So I see this, and I see this in these people, and for me, this political correctness as well that's going in is to our schools. They are brainwashing our children, not just to be weapons against us. They're brainwashing our children to accept that which is not true, to accept that which one side of the political spectrum want them to believe, and not necessarily what's true. So they're being forced to believe in fantasies. This is dangerous. It's also going to harm them as they grow older, and it is harming the family unit more than they've already harmed it. We have a problem with communities. The communities are being destroyed, whether it's by the immigration rates, by the policy of the government, the austerity, whether it's by the forced adoption. They're being destroyed, and most of them have been already. The idea at one time may have been that if a parent couldn't look after their own child, genuinely couldn't, that somebody in the community probably would. Somebody in their family probably would, meaning that child wouldn't be estranged from their life, their upbringing, their family, everything. That can't happen anymore because the state now makes these decisions. You never want the state getting involved in your life. The state should be worrying about state affairs, not your affairs. Once we had a church that worried about who we slept with and how we slept with them, now we've got a state that wants to do the same and worry about what we do with our children. Now, I can understand the good intentions it probably started with, but what I see is carnage. That's what I see as the result of what they're doing, and I would expect no less from a government. They're not going to care about it on a human level, the way, and especially as well, there's a classism going on as well. If you speak the way that some of the people that I know speak, and even the way that I speak, if they've got an accent or if they are not brilliant at English, then they are instantly branded as stupid or incapable. And I see it again with people who with the whole parenting thing. There's a classism that's going on, and a lot of very easy, quick judgments are made. Profiles are made of people, but that person's got no input that profile. So the profile could be complete fiction based on stories told by other people. That could damn a parent to losing their child. When you really start to look into this, and start to talk to people and start to look at the facts, you start to find that things just don't line up. In terms of caring about our children, I'm very interested in the grooming gangs. The political correctness that I spoke of has created an environment where those grooming gangs can exist, and potentially can filter up to the elites, although that part of it is a conspiracy theory and could be proven. This is, there's a systemic problem, and whether I always say that it's on the left, but left or right, it goes up from one end of the country to another. We are engulfed in a place of madness where transsexual identity, which is something that is not currently provable under science, is considered under science to be a condition until we've done more investigation. Nevertheless, it's being taught to children between 4 and 6 years old at school. When I asked a lady at one of these demos why that she thought that was okay, she said, I said, you wouldn't teach heterosexual couples children the same thing. She said, yeah, but it's not the norm, is it? I was like, well, more reason why you need to get the science to back it up before you start teaching children of that age. So, and the mental health aspect of things, not just for children but for everyone. I mean, the one difference between me maybe and the others is my raison d'etre really is helping everyone. And anybody tell me, what's the biggest killer of men under 45?
Mental health.
Suicide.
Yeah, suicide. In the UK, the biggest killer of men under 45 is suicide. That's above road traffic accidents. That's above heart disease and cancer, and by quite some margin too. It's made a sharp increase, 12% increase. Our children are growing up quicker, and it's affecting them earlier and earlier in age. So it's not just adults that are being affected; it's children too. Women are actually the same rate of attempts, but women are less lethal with their methods, which is why probably the thing that separates the numbers. It's a shit state of affairs. It's a shit show, and it's being allowed to happen. And I think some of it you cut has to be explained yet, and needs to be looked at under science. And some of it's bloody obvious why it's happening. But what I want to do on the mental health side of things is do what I was doing before when I started my first podcast, and what I've been doing up until recently, which is do a personal blog that is detailing my journey through the anxiety and bouts of depression I go through, and detailing them from all sides, when things are good, when things are not so good, and when things are terrible. And the thing about me is I've had a microphone in my face since I was a kid. I don't care what you think. And I say that with all the best intentions, but I don't give a damn. So, for that reason, I will film myself in any state. And what I found is people find that useful. It's not just me. No, it really isn't just me. That guy really does know what I'm feeling. Because whatever is wrong with us, wherever we started, whatever's causing our mental health problems, we all have a feeling that we share when we go through that. And it's shareable across the board. And coming across a station, as many people did when I first was doing mental health on mine, I found so many people seeing it and seeing the steps I was using to combat it was useful to them. And if it's useful, I'm all for it. So I mean, I could go on and on and on, and I don't want to do that. What I will say is the political correctness ends you up in a state where you've got Greta Thunberg on television. And that's the state that we're in at the moment. And honestly, and the other thing is that the parents are able to change their child's gender. That's not considered to be child abuse, and yet so many other things I've seen recently are, and they are far less crimes. And I think all of this needs to be looked into. But I intend to shine a light, I should say, on as much as I possibly can, and to be a window to the truth.
Yeah, but just to answer your question, mate, yeah, me and Bob exposed this over 2.5 years ago, especially on whenever we were going through the biggest case in Europe. That I'm going through. I'm talking about PTSD through being raped as a child. I'm talking about combat-related PTSD. Yeah, I've got a double whammy. Yeah. And we brought it out. The government knew this was going to happen. There's not enough cognitive therapists in this country to deal with it. The government knew that. So why didn't it right to bring the cognitive therapists?
And the problem is as well with the cognitive therapy. I think they say the success rate is something like 69%. But I don't like the way that's presented to some patients because some patients have presented it like it works 69% of people. So if it doesn't work for you, it's your fault. Before they've even started the therapy, it's like, okay, that's not a kick up the ass works for some people. That kind of attitude can completely crush another person. You know, and I do feel like that they've gone completely the wrong way. I have never heard of a person except for maybe a 6-week bout of reactionary depression who has ever said to me, this tablet cured my depression, more my anxiety. I've never heard one story of it. So why are we pumping them out? Oh, I know why. To stop people going and making more doctor's appointments, asking the same question time and time again. Or perhaps they should put that money, take it away from the pharmaceutical companies, and put it into researching what we don't know a damn thing about, and that's mental health issues. But the little bit we do know is other people can help, as in sticking around a person can help. So we know some of the basics, and that's what I think we need to do, and to show people via a screen if need be. In my case, showing myself in the most vulnerable states at times and saying, "Fuck it, it's okay," and to be able to say, "Let's talk about suicide like we are talking about, I don't know, booking a holiday. Let's talk about it in the same kind of, you know, indifference." Because it's the only way you can have a sensible conversation about it without people going, oh, suicide, oh no, that's a taboo subject. No, it's just a subject. And anybody that says suicide will not cure someone's problems is wrong. Because it will. Blatantly it will. It's just a little extreme. So it's like, it's allowing someone to have those thoughts so that they can vent those thoughts out rather than keep having someone tell them to repress those thoughts. Because then it gets out of control. You're always better with that stuff outside your head than you are having it inside your head. Because when it's inside your head, it's going to drive you crazy, and you can't be objective when you're feeling like that. You know, you're full of adrenaline, you can't think properly. So I really think, sorry, I'm on one now. I get passionate about this, but I just really think the whole thing needs to be looked at all from scratch. You know.
We need to look at, put an end to the education system, giving these mental health problems to these children as well, because a lot of it starts there. 100%. You know, tearing children away from their parents and then putting them in a system like that screws with the mind. Lose their creativity, lose their self-esteem, don't have a clue who they are, aren't allowed to think for themselves, not allowed to talk to each other or share ideas in the classroom because they've all got to sit silent. They're even told who they can play with at break times if they get a break time.
Wow.
You know, this is all abuse of power in the education system against the children, which damages the child, damages the relationship between the parent and child. And then you've got a teenager that wants to kill themselves because life's shit, basically, and they don't know who the hell they are anymore.
Absolutely.
Or who they should be, and they've no dreams for the future because they've been told they're worthless because they're not abiding by the Stasi camp rules that are set for them in the academy.
And teaching them to hate their own country, that's not helping. And that's what they're doing.
They're losing the sense of belonging, they're losing the sense of self, and that's what they want, because they want robots, they want zombies.
Yes, exactly.
People have to look at their ultimate goals to realise why this drip has been happening over so many decades. to get to this point where they can even confuse a child about what sex they are
Yeah.
when it's male or female. You might be a feminine male or a masculine female, but you're still a male or a female. And distorting the minds. I mean, body dysmorphia was a mental health issue till a few years ago.
And did
You know,
it's
all they want to do is medicate.
an interesting statistic, sorry to jump in, but an interesting statistic on this, which is important. It's important for the whole narrative. The people who have gone transgender, who have gone for the operation. So people in the transgender community, the suicide rate for people in the transgender community is, and I use that term loosely, is 40%. That's huge. 40. You compare that to the male suicide rate, as high as it is, that's probably about 4%. 40%. Now, when they have the operation, the thing that is going to make life better, guess what the suicide rate is then? 40%. It doesn't change. It doesn't change. That's a problem. That highlights that it's not fixing anything. And so the idea of embellishing people's delusions and fantasies, I think, is actually not the empathic thing to do. I think it's the opposite from that.
The statistics also show that those that have had the operations or believe that they need to change gender, I think it was something like 80 to 90% of those have been abused as a child. So they want to lose their identity. They don't. It's like people, they purposely become overweight when they've been abused because they feel that that's a barrier against any further abuse. And I think that when the schools and the health services are pushing, oh yeah, maybe you should be a girl, they you know, instead of encouraging them to be who they are and to fight off.
And I think that the fact
any negatives.
They've put politics and that into schools now, or they're preaching their politics in schools, is also taking away their sense of identity as well. And as a result, you can see them, can't you, as they go into teenage years, that they're struggling, they're fighting to find an identity. You see it on YouTube. You see how hard they're trying to find an identity.
Yeah, but this is what's happened for decades. Yeah, children, have always lost their identity, whether it's through adoption, whether it's through children aren't all children, right? We watch our children grow, and we watch our children find their own way. We watch our children mature, But what we've got now, right? They're taking that away from the parents now, and like I know, Sharon, you know a lot more about this than I do, Whenever you've got a headmaster stood wearing a dress, saying about what he is, this, that, and the other, Children, I've got lots of gay friends. I've got lots of lesbian friends, They found their identity. They found who they wanted to be and who they are, right? That should be left down to every natural person to grow up, whether you want to be gay or whether you want to be a lesbian or whether you want to be straight, right? That's part of growing up. But we're getting it now, where they're pushing it into schools, running around and saying about transgender.
72 genders.
Yeah, these are children.
And don't forget about the sexualization of our children through the schools, by the lessons they're teaching, by the language that they're using, by bringing things into a 6-year-old's frame of reference about sex and body parts that doesn't need to be there.
100%.
About telling 8-year-olds that, you know, if they give consent, well, an 8-year-old can't give consent, so it shouldn't be a case of unless consent is given. And 12-year-olds don't need to be taught in the classroom how to masturbate. That's about them growing up at the point where they're ready for it and experimenting themselves.
We're all still
That's a
here.
teenager's right, isn't it? It's a right.
We brought that up the other day, and we were talking about that, Sharon, about what any education centre, regardless of what you go to, as a school, right? Who the hell are they to turn around and tell children to masturbate?
I know. I know. This is what I'm saying about about just how far past their authority they've stepped. This is insane. This is insane. You don't. The thing is about sex with children. I don't know. We're all still here, and our parents didn't have all this, so they obviously managed just fine. And I don't believe it does anything but furthers someone's political agenda to make things that are not quote normal unquote normal, as in forcing equality as opposed to embracing it naturally. And I don't like it. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't like it, and I just see it. Yeah, it's the fact that we're all talking today as adults. Yeah, and the way that I looked at each and every one of us, whether you're a boy or a girl, yeah, that was something that you learned yourself. That was something that you done whenever you were 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, teenage years, whatever. But that was down to you to decide to masturbate. You don't have to be learning at the children now. That's down to them to find their own thing out and do it naturally.
It's insane. It's insane.
I look at them as saying it as like, well, if you masturbate, you're bringing the child then into sexuality before they're even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and there's no bigger crime because children have got
sexualizing children to normalise paedophilia, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, yeah. There you go.
You're going to make children. The schools are going to make children then very exquisite into sexuality. Yeah. So if they are being touched by fucking paedophiles, sorry for swearing, yeah, or anybody that wants to abuse them, are they going to see that? No, they'll see it as sexual, and it won't be reported.
Ripe for the picking.
Of life.
Ripe for the picking. That's pretty sick, but it's yeah.
It is, but it's true though.
Yeah. I know. I hear you 100%. And so I think the government needs to stay out of bedroom and out of our house for I understand that there genuinely are some really bad parents out there, but these things used to be sorted out on a community level. We did manage to sort a lot of this out. I'm not saying all of it, but look at, we did better than this.
They've de-skilled this generation of parents through the education system by getting rid of all the lessons that were useful to them in everyday life, and they should be teaching parenting or at least child psychology to children at a young age, because majority of them become parents or deal with children. So
100%.
as children growing into adults, they should be learning about what a child's needs are, so that they can, for one, protect their own needs, and also know what a child needs in the future. And that's how we evolve as parents. We pass on those skills, and they've taken those skills away. They've replaced it with technology and the material world. So that's
what
we need to go back to. We need to go back to basics with these parents who are struggling, and give them solid guidance and advice. I know from working with parents and doing parenting with them in the home that you can turn a family around once they understand how to communicate with each other for a start, because everybody's different. They've dismissed as well the types of learning that everybody has. There's different types of learning, but yet in the classroom they're all supposed to learn the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or be considered worthless, useless, and rejected, isolated at the very least. So
yeah.
This is, this is where we need to turn it around. Education is the key to everything.
Yeah,
educating parents, with the children, educating children
But you just said it. Education is the key to everything. They know that too, which is exactly why they're doing what they're doing. I don't know what we're going to do about it, but we need to do something.
Sharon, sorry, Bob. Yeah. You know me, I agree with everything that you say, look. I know that you do your research, you do everything, yeah, and I respect you for that, I do. But what we've got now, yeah, is that I know that, right, whenever we were at school, we never had sex education. Do you know what I mean? We weren't told about the birds and the bees. It was our parents that sometimes said this now and again, and it was, you know, through growing up and learning it naturally yourself. Yeah? And like I said, when you look at the education system and what they're doing now, yeah, I think because that was put in place because, right, is it to hide paedophilia?
I think that's part of it, but I think it's also a propaganda issue. They can't win the propaganda wars unless they can brainwash their children before the wars have even begun.
Yeah.
When I was dealing with the schools, with parents, and if the child wasn't managing in the classroom and things like that, and the mental health service was involved, CAMS, I asked them to look at, you know, possibly was it attachment difficulties, and the response I got was, we're not commissioned to work with attachment. Well, all I've learned about working with children and families and my own self, you know, research that I've done, the attachment was the basis for everything as far as the child psychology or, you know, understanding the needs of the child and what could have just, you know, interrupted that attachment. And that can happen at any age, which creates the mental health problems because, you know, even from pregnancy, when they're stressing that mother out, she's releasing stress hormones into that baby, which is going to make for a fractious child or an insecure child, which that is the attachment. That is that you've got to understand it to work with the child on their behaviour so that they can repair that with the right kind of care. But parents aren't taught those things. So when they've got a fractious child, they find it very difficult to manage. And there's nobody there advising them on what that could be or how, you know, practical. I mean, that's all lost. They restructure all the services and they don't offer family support anymore. I mean, that's what I did for 15 years with them. And they don't, it's like they're just now corporate spies sitting behind desks, gathering information on families and sharing it around. And then they build their case off what the hell they want. So, you know, we have a lot to kind of face and deal with and change, but coming together like this in a group and raising awareness and giving people the opportunity to find these things out, that's what we can do. That's where we can educate, and like I say, education is the key. So if this is our way of educating people and getting people to understand, you know, how to protect themselves basically, that's the best we could hope to do with all coming together. Because that saves families, and when we save the family, we save the community, or at least we've got a chance of building it back up.
It's like what you. I listen to you, Sharon, and honest to God, love. Yeah, that's why me and Bobby support you so much, because you're so wise in it, and you know what you're talking about. Yeah, and like I said, each and every single one of us. Yes, I can talk about child abuse. I can talk about being raped, and I can open people's eyes to that the same way that you can talk about your experiences and through working at schools and this, that, and the other. Yeah, we've all got, you know, we're a bigger power together because of all of our experiences, yeah, and different knowledge, yeah. And this is why we've said this about bringing ourselves together stronger. There's such an influence on different things, then that would work. You know what I mean?
100%.
It would work 100% because we can all give different advice. We can all say different things. We can all help people in different ways. Yeah. And that's what needs to be done, right? It's about educating the people out there. It's about turning around. Why is there not thousands of people on the streets saying about, I don't want my daughter or my son to learn about masturbation? No, because they're being at school. That's not down to the school to decide, right? School is about educating. So why are they educating them on about masturbation? Why are they educating them on different things, a lot of parents would be going, well, no.
Well, there's been isolated cases where parents have boycotted their school for a period of time when they were trying to teach the 4 to 6-year-olds about transgenderism and stuff like that. There have been some parents that have tried to put up a fight, but as an organised campaign, no, there's been nothing.
Well, part of my campaign with parents through the 20s, it was the 2000s, was because where they started was these games, Grand Theft Auto, things like that. Parents, you know, most kids were getting PlayStations, game stations of some description, and the games that were coming out, although they had 18 on the box, they thought it's just a game. And I saw drastic changes in the child's behaviour from the parent of an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, of the parent when we removed the games that had 18 on them and left him with the other games that were age appropriate. His behaviour completely changed. He'd been started using language he hadn't used, and the way he was treating his sister and everything else. And this is like Vice City and games like that. And then you've got the other combat ones with all the swearing and everything else.
Sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, parents don't think about it in those terms. It's okay, it's just a game, but in the developing mind, that changes, like it desensitizes the child to reality and to dangers in the outside world, and also it puts things in the mind, images in the mind that don't need to be there at that age.
Well, I'd be alright to interrupt. Sorry, Sammy's got a phone call to make.
Sorry, Sammy.
Just wondering if Sammy would be able to introduce herself quickly.
I think you just introduced yourself, didn't you?
Not really out of your name, not who you are. What you
Can I just ask though, before you do, Joe, please mute your mic because it keeps jumping off whoever's talking.
Yeah,
is that all right? It's just because it jumps from you to them, and it's like.
If you swipe your screen to the left, you should it should come up with boxes with multiple more in them.
Yes. It's feedback from the speakers.
Audio.
No worries, right? I'll leave you on, Sammy. I'm going to mute myself as well.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, that's right. You go hiding behind that mic. Well, I'm Sam. I've joined Families Destroyed by the State. I also have United by State Trauma. I've been doing campaigning on and off now for probably since 2014, since the system got hold of my 5 eldest children. But even more so since they got my youngest one, who's now 18 months. Just basically, and I want to be, well, I have to be, not just my children's voice, but everyone else's children's voice, and make sure that their futures are secure and they can have a happy life without anyone coming in, lying or destroying the family, basically. I have had my own personal experiences growing up, you know, but I was abused as a child. I've suffered domestic violence, all of which I will be going into when I do like personal blogs and further work for Unity for Our Children. Okay, you can have the mic back now. Where do you see what we're doing now in, well, the future? Well, what's your hope? What we're doing? Well, hopefully, primarily it's to make sure everyone wakes up to what's going on, and to make sure that it doesn't happen to our children and our grandchildren, and so on. But hopefully, my personal opinion would be to scrap social services completely. But Sammy, you sound like you're breaking, darling. Oh, signal. No. No.
voice, darling, not the signal. You alright?
Yeah. No, I just, if I had my way, I'd scrap the whole social services side of things completely. But it'll never happen. And to be fair, I think to the ones that have not had it done or been through it, they do sit there saying, you know, it doesn't happen. That's not what it's like.
No smoke
Who's
without
that? Even
fire,
though-
all that stuff.
Yeah, I've had them involved. I got them involved with my kids. 2008 when I got with my ex-partner. Prior to that, they left me alone, even given my own childhood. But once they started trying to take my kids, that's when I realised, well, hang on, what everyone's been saying is true. And had I have known what I know now in 2015 when they put my daughter Scarlett up for adoption, I probably would have, well, hoped to have stopped her being adopted.
Wow.
The same way I'm pushing it now with Amelia, which they are really pissed because they can't match her, but you know, sod's law.
Well, as everyone's touched on already in obviously their intros and talking to obviously everyone of what our plans are for everything, we've touched on basically what we're going to be doing. We're all going to be creating our own individual vlogs. So it's a way of us, you know, having an output somewhere where we can go and we can just basically have a diary log. So it's not just for us, but for our kids and obviously everyone who actually wants to be involved in it. You'll be going through the good side, the bad side, the spiritual side, the annoying side, the funny side,
Cadbury's rant.
the educational ones as well. Yeah, Cadbury's rant as well if you're lucky. We're going to try and do as much as we can and be there as much as we can. We're going to be doing a weekly video group with each other. It's probably going to be live for a while, but I don't know if it's going to stay live. But we're going to be doing a weekly live with each other, a weekly group chat with each other. We're also going to be, hopefully, all individually releasing content, whether it's something on and for the cause, or whether it's something for a personal vlog, or whether it's something for both. But we are going to be having stuff go out every week because we are on this. We've got our goals set. We know what we want to do. We know what we want to achieve. We know how to do it. It's just a matter of putting it in place. So what everyone has been witnessing with this live tonight is you have been witnessing the company, the business, the fucking group, the gang, the whatever you want to call it. We don't care. We're just a group of people trying to do what we do naturally and help and spread awareness. So we're going to try and do that. We're going to be using our own past lives, our own past experiences. We're going to be going through our own things, and we want to build a reputation with you. Our reputations are a relationship. Wrong R word. We want to build a relationship with everyone who we're working with, everyone we're helping, and everyone who's watching as well, because we wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for the support that we have from everyone. Can
I just say, Katie, there, social services, well, children's services was started by a group of volunteer women that would go in and help families that were struggling, and the government took it over. So I think this is us taking it back. We're taking back our power.
I like it.
We are there. We've got the skills. We know what we're doing. Other people have got the skills. They know what they're doing. We all know how to help each other. And what better way to build a community than by actually building a community? If we can help you, we will help you.
Yeah, and this is
for someone who can.
This is the thing, is there's so much more scope for how many other faces could be appearing as well. I mean, you know, people have been calling for solidarity left, right, and centre, and they have failed miserably. This is a chance to actual solidarity, a chance to actually put all the silliness aside and get the things done that we say we want to. And anybody who's really serious, surely would want to be a part of it if they think that they could actually help and do some good, surely. Otherwise, you need a cricket bat to the head.
And the best part about all this group is we're all individuals as well.
Pretty
Well,
much.
we've all got our own image and everything. Sorry, Joe. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, what I want to say to everybody that's joined us tonight, yeah, and to all us, Katie, to Sharon, to Sam, to Kat, all of us, yeah, we're the ones that go out and talk the talk, yeah, and we're the ones that's always out in front of the public, yeah. We know what it's like to do it day in, day out, and then you have got your bad day. But to anybody that's watching this, right, even to us that we all know each other, yeah, if you're having a bad day, get in touch with each other, yeah, and we'll be there to support each other in every way that we possibly can, and we'll be there to support anybody that wants to come into the group. You can stay anonymous, you don't have to say your name, you don't have to give anything, but don't sit and suffer alone, right? Especially with this group.
Don't think that means that you're going to get lectured to and preached to. It's just a chance for you to come and to be around people who've been through the same things and to be able to speak freely.
Exactly, and this is about being able to speak freely. Yeah, we've got all different people on this group that have got their own personal life experiences. Yeah, and like I said, right, if you want to talk to Sharon because she knows more about certain things than we do, if you want to talk to Sam, if you want to talk to Kate, if you want to talk to me or to yourself, mate, yeah, then we're there for that, yeah. So, like I said, it's about unity. It's about, we're here because we understand the needs of other people. We understand the suffering. We understand the pain, yeah. And this is what we have to do, yeah. It's about building this group.
Can I just give a tiny little example of that? And that's if I could go back in time and give myself a piece of advice just regarding anxiety, it would just be to say it can and it will stop one day, mate. Because I had it every day, all day, 24 hours a day for years, and you get to believe that it will never stop. That makes you desperate. And you start to do anything when you're desperate. And no doctor will tell you, oh yeah, it can stop or it will stop. No doctor's going to give you that because they're scared, they're saving their own ass. Whereas you'll find people like me who still go through it, but some of that is part of my own fault. But I've also found people who don't go through it anymore. And, you've got to be able to. I've just gone blank. Sorry, I've gone completely blank.
I was just going to say with what you were saying there. We all go through emotional highs and lows, and nothing ever stays the same. So as high as you're feeling today, at some point it's going to come crashing down.
Yeah.
I call those moments tower moments, and all that is some truth appears that changes your whole way of thinking, or something happens that robs you of something that you find hard to lose. And it's understanding those highs and lows and giving yourself permission to have those highs because it gets you through the lows. But when people get depressed, they flatline and it's just low all the time, and they don't give themselves permission to get excited anymore or be happy anymore. And you need those moments to get through those lows, and that's what they don't tell people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Prescribe to them because it's big business.
And
children now, they're prescribing. If they've got a customer at 5, they've got a customer for life because in some form or other, they're going to be taking medication because they'll have been advised to take it and it's normal to them. And that's killing them.
But the other thing as well is that people trust their doctors, and a lot of people, when they're given antidepressants, don't even realise they've got the option to say no. God damn it.
The health visitor came to the house the other day and she offered my daughter toothpaste with extra fluoride in it because apparently it's quite low in our water. And this is for an 18-month-old child. extra fluoride in the toothpaste, and she's ignorant, obviously, to the damage that fluoride does, but they're doing as they're told. And, you know, understandably, my daughter's saying she's not using it, but they did the same to me. I didn't understand about fluoride at the time when my daughter, I mean, she's 27 now, so they gave me fluoride drops to put in her bottle because there wasn't fluoride, and I just thought it was good for the teeth. It damaged her teeth. So when her teeth came through, the dentist, it was something like it was something to do with the fluoride, too much fluoride. And the dentist told me that, but then insists that they use fluoride. And, you know, I couldn't believe that they were handing this toothpaste out for a baby with, like, a toddler. So, yeah, it's dangerous to listen to the health practitioners because they're just told what they're told and they don't question it. It's just, this is how it is. In the dentist, they're trained to believe that fluoride is necessary.
Yeah.
We've got 2 questions so far, and there's a viewer and her first comment that I want to bring up as well. The viewer I'm going to come to last only because we are all going to have opinions on this, and we are all going to have something to say about this, and we're all going to want to help. So I'm going to come to that last, and I'm going to go with the easiest question first, which is purely for Sammy, I think. What's occurring about the Bury demo?
What?
About the demonstration in Bury.
Oh, Friday's demonstration. That's to do with Ryan and Harley because I think it's from what their mum was saying. It's 2 years on Saturday since they were taken from their mum and their family.
A forced adoption demo. Children's demo.
Yeah, children's demo basically.
I know when Jill's her kids aren't adopted, they're just in care, or 2 of them are.
Yeah.
Out of 4 of them, I believe. The eldest are left with her, they took the youngest. They're trying to adopt the youngest out. So if anyone can get down to Bury this Saturday, wait, let me get the date. What? You know the date, don't you?
Friday 25th at 11 o'clock.
So if you can get down there, please do. They could use your support. I'm going to try and get down there as well. I'm going to do my absolute best to anyway, so I should be. Second question is for all of us. Zero, are you having a play with the computer there?
I am.
I can see. Right, so the next question is for all of us. Do you fight for the whole of the UK or just England?
The whole of the UK.
Whole of the UK.
Whole of the UK.
Everywhere. Anybody from abroad wants to get in touch with us, we'll talk to them as well. It's you know.
We are global. If we can help you, we will help you. We will do as much as we possibly can, because that's our goal.
At the end of the day, this is about people, young and old. It affects the young, and I know that's a lot of where the focus is from a lot of people here. But it's really about people, communities, all of it. And if anybody can be helped, then why wouldn't we want to help?
Yeah. And it's true. Like I said, decided, all of us have decided to set this group up. Yeah. And united as one. So, we're united as one. And we want the public, we want anybody to come to us united as one. We're there to give advice. We're there to guide you through your pain, your suffering. And like I said, I've said it before, we've all got different issues. We've all got different pains. Yeah. And if we can alleviate that pain in any way, shape or form, then we'll all do it. Yeah. It goes out to everyone. Yeah. If you're suffering, get in contact with us. We're there to talk. We're there to give you any advice that we possibly can. And that's what this is united as one is about. Helping each other, supporting each other, and being there for each other. Right? When you join our group, yeah, you join like I don't want it to be like a brotherhood. When you join this group, yeah, we're all all their brothers, sisters, yeah, and what we want. It's too many people and stuff for it. Too many children. Too many parents.
Okay, sorry, just stop you. So, someone's got their speakers up just a little bit high, and it keeps cutting my friend off here. So just let you guys know.
Make sure we've all got our mics off for a second, guys, because it might be one of us. And then we'll leave you to it then, Joe. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. Like I said, we want you all here to give our experiences out. We've all been hurt in different ways. Some people have got experience in this. Some people have got experience in that. Yeah. We can all do this. It's about reaching out to the people that are hurting. It's about reaching out to the public that we're trying to open their eyes. Yeah. I've never turned round, and me and Bobby never will. Yeah. Say to people, we're not scaremongering. We're not turning around to people, oh, your children are going to get raped and abused or stolen off. Yeah. We're not saying that, but we're trying to open the public's eyes to what does go on. Yeah. And it's about unity. It's about waking the public up. They're going, well, why is this all happening? And we keep saying it. Don't believe us. If you want to Google it, and you'll see the statistics that's there.
And people are tired of people with our causes constantly battling with each other. They're not interested in that. These causes mean something to them, and that's when the unity part is so important. People don't want to see the arguing, fighting, backbiting. They really don't. They come into these places for help, and that's, you know, and hopefully...
We're going to focus on the solutions, not the problems.
Yeah.
If people have got the problems, they can keep them to themselves, as in fighting.
Understood.
It's not about personalities, is it? It's about
channeling
solutions for people, giving people the answers that they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that we've obviously, just from listening to you guys, all got some core fundamental beliefs that are the same. And I think we're going to find more of that as we go along.
Well, this is why I've chosen these, like, all of you guys, because whether you guys know it or not yet, there is a hell of a lot that links us all and that gives us all that boost and that energy that we need. But before we go on, there's a watcher. I'm not too sure if she's still on, if she's still watching or not, but she put a comment in at the beginning. She's been commenting throughout. SJ Watcher put a comment in. Her first comment was her daughter is battling cancer and a child out of school under mental health and safeguarding. So social services are trying to take my kids. And obviously she's been writing in the comments as well, along with us as we've been going along. And there is a lot to it, and I know that a lot of us obviously are going to have some advice or thoughts on it, and hopefully we'll be able to help her in some way.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just have to communicate with her and.
The first thing is
it Messenger or?
I'm not too sure, but what I'm going to make sure that everyone has got this YouTube login anyway, because we're all going to need it for joint campaign work and everything like that.
Yeah. And
then we've all got our own personal ones as well, which we'll be making.
Is there an email address you can give to people? Because I think for some people, especially with these issues, again, they feel judged. Everything else. They might want to make first contact by email. Is there an email you can give them that they can?
We've got childrenmatter.cat. So that's it.
At gmail.com, yeah?
Cat with a K, by the way, guys, not a C. Cat with a K. So childrenmatter.cat@gmail.com, and you'll be able to get in touch with me. And we will be putting together, hopefully, a group email as well, where you'll be able to contact all of us in one email.
it gives people the opportunity to write their story out, and word it how they want it worded, and for us to share that, if anonymously or otherwise, just because people want to get it out there, and when they hear there's so many other stories like that, you know, it's about them linking up with those people and finding strength in that as well. So
And the other,
that we want to make throughout that, you know, that's the point, isn't it?
And the other thing as well is that anecdotal evidence starts to become empirical evidence when you start to add more and more and more and more of it, and that's powerful.
It is powerful, and like I said, we've all individual stories. We've got our own individual what we happened in our lives. Yeah. The more people we bring into the group, the bigger that group gets. Then we can turn round to everybody then and going, well, wait a wee minute, right? Are we all lying? No, we're not. We're the real truth tellers, and we're saying it and telling it as it is.
I like it, and yeah, 100% concur.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to leave because my phone's about to die.
Okay.
So
I was going to suggest we start wrapping up as well, because we've been on for a while. We've been on for longer than I thought we were going to be on for anyway.
Yeah.
This is an absolutely amazing beginning. We've had everyone on. Sorry?
Over 2 hours.
Oh well. I mean, we've had everyone on.
Maybe it can be cut into an hour of just introductions from everybody, and then the other hour can be the topic conversations that we've had. If it can be cut like that.
We're already live.
All right.
I'm nearly 10 hours live podcast in the last 2 days. I'll tell you what I can do. I'm actually recording this as we go, so I could, if you see any value in it, edit a shorter version.
It'd be an amazing thing to do, because we've all got our own individual channels as well. So to wrap all this up, I'm going to go through one by one. If you've got a channel already set up, basically let everyone know what channel they can go on to personally find you on. But I'm going to go with the quietest two first, and I'm going to go with Savannah and Lorne.
Proper put us on the spot there. What's that Telegram channel called?
Have a look.
If you give me 2 seconds. We do actually have a Telegram page. Sorry if you just bear with me.
That's dropped my bloody phone then.
And the name of it is Savannah and then space and 3 X's.
Yep.
If anyone wants any advice, you know, we've been through care proceedings, we can try and help in any way with any advice we can offer, or just generally having someone to talk to that's been in the same boat. And 'cause I know we'd have appreciated it a lot if we knew there were other people out there that have experienced either the same or similar. Just knowing that there's someone there that you can talk to or get advice from, it just means a lot. So yeah, if anyone needs to get any advice or just for a chat about it, the Telegram account's there, and or if you can contact Katie and she can get a hold of me, and again that way I'll always contact people back.
I believe Sharon's phone's just died, I believe, and I don't know if Sammy's answering a call, if she's jumped off, but sorry about that. Thank you as well for joining us, and thank you for being part of our team. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do it if it weren't for you two as well. And the best part is you're bringing a whole new light into what it is that we're going to be doing as well, because you've got the mum side, along with the social services side, and all the personal aspects, as well as parental alienation, social services, personal side of your lives and everything as well. Zero, I'm going to jump on to you.
Okay, my channel is Zero News, and it really looks at a lot of things, that some of the things we've talked about today. Not so much mental health, but I've got a second channel on there. But the stuff I was going to put on the second channel is probably now going to go towards what we're doing here. But it's the same thing. It's me trying to create a window to the truth, and I try and show like demos and certain things like that through the eyes of people who are there, so that if you can't make it, you can't be there. You know, do interviews, phone. I don't honestly, I don't really want to self-promote myself today because this is about something a little bit bigger than that. All I'll say is this: the channel's called Zero News, and I set the channel up for the same reasons why we're here today, to share the risk. And you can find me if you actually put share the risk in, it's all one word. And my whole idea was that I created my channel, and I hope this is going to be the same, is that I created in the hope that we can all, and I've said this before, share the risk, collectively win back our freedom, our expression, and challenge all madness that masquerades as goodness. That's it for me.
Thank you, Zero. Joe, I'm going to jump onto you in a minute, but I've just seen that Zach's jumped back on, and I don't know how long he's going to be on for. So I'm wondering if he wants to come on and say, well, basically say bye to everyone. I'm guessing he's not coming on then. I'll leave it to you then, Joe, and I'll wait for him. If he wants to come on after you to say bye, then he's more than welcome, but I'll leave it to you for now.
I've got Joe Blair. If you go onto YouTube and type in The Real Truth Tellers, yeah, that's me and Bobby's YouTube channel. And like I said, me and Bobby are as transparent as we possibly can be. We tell the truth. We've won our case, well, to a point, yeah. But we do it because of the fact that we talk for every child that's been raped and abused, because we know that a lot of people get raped and abused and they don't want to talk about it because of how dirty the feeling, of how degraded the feeling, the stigma around it. But we're your voice. If you want us to be your voice, we're your voice. Yeah, we're all your voice. So if anybody wants to talk to us, if anybody wants advice on how to deal with children that have been raped and abused, yeah, we can do it. We can talk to you. So please don't sit and suffer alone. Yeah, come and talk to us, and we will talk to you personally. That's one thing we've always agreed on, and we'll always stand by it. And look, we couldn't have got this group any better than it has, and it's forming, and we're all there for all abuse, forced adoption, the whole package, yeah. Because it does affect everybody. I'm parents, yeah. So we all are here, and let's make it big, yeah. Over to you, Katie.
Well, I've got Zach texting me on the phone, but not actually unmuting himself, so he's gonna miss out to do it on this when it's
Katie,
back.
can I just jump in with a quick point?
That explains why you couldn't hear me.
Oh, there
1
you go.
minute. What are we saying, Zero?
No, it's just to say that if you're viewing this video and you don't know us, maybe even if you do, it could look, when you see all the faces lined up and everything else, like a potential self-important gathering of people who are almost self-congratulatory in tone. I understand how that could be the perception, but we've all got resources we can pull together, and this is generally going to be, and is a labour of love, as I believe it has been for us in our own endeavours all the way up till this. I just wanted to make that point.
Thank you, Derek. Absolutely. I mean, you're right, though.
Yeah.
Zach, do you want to say your bit and your personal channel, if you've got one set up yet or not? It's gone again.
Yeah, I don't know what I missed, but hello?
Right, go on.
Oh, all right. I thought you couldn't hear me.
No,
I'm not that technical.
you're good, mate. You're good.
Yeah, I don't know what I missed. I've missed out on about an hour and a half.
Okay, you was
I didn't know
basically
it's
just saying to kind of give a well, it was an exit statement, really.
Basically, yeah, just an end of the video, what you hope to achieve. If you've got a personal channel that you want anyone to go over to if they want to see your blog or whatever, and saying bye, basically.
I've not got a personal channel set up yet. I will be getting one set up in the not so distant future.
Day or two.
And I just want anybody that can come forward and speak to me and help, please do. And if I can help you in any way, shape or form, I will.
Thank you. Obviously, some of you know, some of you don't, but if you do want to get to my one, just Katie Jane Swallow. We've got the Unity for Our Children one, but this one that we're on at the minute, this is going to be the one that we're going to basically base campaign stuff on or from, as well as doing our own personal ones and adding it to our personal ones as well. So you will be able to follow us all together and all individually as well. Obviously, we aim to try and obviously bring you as much information as much as we can. I can see Lon getting fed up there in his bloody jacket, took his dressing gown off and everything.
Dressing gown.
He's not getting fed up, he's going out soon.
Fed up with Demi that keeps making me run about.
I'm just so I never recognised him with his clothes on.
What's that?
I didn't recognise you with your clothes on.
Alright, I look better in this than dressing gown.
Nah, you pull the dressing gown off better.
I can't thank every single one of you enough for coming on and for everything that we're all about to do on this as well. I mean, I've spoken in depth to every single one of you about the plan moving forward, coming up with new ideas, coming up with new strategies on how we're going to do everything, and we have worked it out to near enough perfection. What you're going to see within this coming month, you're going to see routine, you're going to see structure, and you're going to see videos coming out constantly. We're going to be uploading videos at least one a week. Their minimum is at least going to be one a week from at least because we're going to be at least doing once a week a video together for at least this month while we get ourselves into a routine of what it is we're doing, because obviously adapting to carrying a phone around with you and talking to a phone sounds easier, but it is a big step. So we are going to have an adjustment period, but we've got this. We're a team. We're not just a team, but we are a family. Like Joseph said before about us being brothers and sisters, we're a family. And I can see you two giggling there. Don't think that you're away from it just because your speaker's off.
He's just sat there and goes, "Go team," and I went, "You know you're on mute, don't you?" Idiot.
I am so happy, I'm so proud, and I'm so relieved. I mean, it feels like a weight already off our shoulders knowing that we've got an outlet and that we've got a routine and a team and a family to go forward and do this with. We're not going to be stuck doing anything. I mean, we've got a book full of ideas, full of bloody spider diagrams everywhere. Spider diagrams. I love them, but we've got ideas, we've got content, we know a lot of stuff what people want answered, so we've got our foundation to work on. So you're going to be seeing that.
Yeah, and if you want stuff answered, you know, again, write to us, request, put it in the comments, whatever. You know, just if there's something you want to see, ask for it, and you know, it can be done.
Exactly what Dave said there. If you want any comment, if you want content or sorry, Joe.
A word of that then.
We'll send you the PDF. Yeah. Of me and Bobby's, when the Sun covered our newspaper.
Yeah.
We'll send you that, and so you can, the public can read it.
100%.
To you, so that can go on as well.
But if you want, Joe, it'd be probably handy with what we've got here with Zoom and what we've actually organised. Oh, well, this organised platform that we've got at the minute with using Zoom. we could do an interview or a conversation about it with it overlaying as well, so we will be able to actually show that in a video. It'll be a good way of covering, you know, everything, and then
Maybe I'll do a private video for you guys. I'll say this quickly because we're live. A private video for you guys telling you what is and isn't on the table at this point in time, technically, and that might help a little bit.
Well,
it will do.
I'll be getting over his man flu.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's been on the show tonight is part of the team. Obviously, Bobby couldn't join us tonight because he's got the flu. And there are 3 more people that we are meaning to speak to about joining the team. And once those 3 people have been spoken to, our team is then at capacity for now. Going into the future possibly, but we've got 9 people on the team so far. We're about to end up with 12, so it is getting a handful. It won't be a handful because we've all got our own individual things and we're all doing it individually, but we need to slowly expand because we've just come into a massive group with a massive load of admin on it. Luckily, the way we've organised this out, it's not going to be too much extra work, and we're not going to be changing who we are to adapt. We're going to be doing our own thing, adapting our own personalities, doing what we all do best.
Just so you know, Katie, we're hitting an hour, 2 hours to 1 minute according to the encoder.
No worries. Well, in that case, guys, thank you everybody for watching and everybody you shared. Irish Flame, Sharon Kershaw, and Smith, I'm going to give you a shout out. And obviously SJ as well, just for the blatant fact I've just been seeing the comments one after the other in here, and you've been getting involved with the conversation as we go along. So thank you guys, and thank you for sharing everywhere. Thank you everyone for coming on tonight, and let's get this well on the road. Let's have some fun and get started.
You're telling me they'd be able to put up with you for 2 hours?
3 hours 44 minutes the other day, love.
And for some of you, it's my first time speaking to you tonight, so it's been my genuine pleasure to listen to you guys and meet you. So appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to meet the people that I ain't met before and spoken to.
It's been a pleasure to as well. Yeah. Right. Use your experience now to get other people. And 2 lovely people, and thank you for coming on the show tonight. And
You too.
we'll all be together.
I can't wait. I can't wait till everyone's working with each other more and more, because you're all going to love each other, honestly.
Exactly.
Good team.
Orvin, yeah, I've had nothing to eat all day, and she's just been sat in front of me at her dinner. I'm just had chocolate, and I'm sitting here starving.
In that case, Joe, I'm going to let you go for your tea. I'm going to love you all and leave you all. Thank you so, so much. But keep an eye out, because as soon as we've got a date of when our group lives are going to be going up, one of us will be coming on live and telling you when that's going to be, and we'll put a post up as well. So keep an eye out, and we will hopefully in a couple of days have a date for you when the next one's going to be next week.
Cool.
That's it.
So,
Cool. Ta-ra, everyone.
Nice.
See you later.
See you later.
Peace
bye
out.
everyone. Thank you, Zero.
Thank you.